NFC South, are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and hashtag Tommy being overhyped as we head into the season?
I think so. I do. I think, again, I expect it to be an exciting football team, but like we're talking like it's just a guaranteed thing, and I don't look at it that way. And I know I'm probably in the minority.
Then what's a guaranteed thing?
Well, that they're definitely going to the playoffs, and they're going to definitely be a Super Bowl contender. And I can't buy that yet. I mean, this is football. It's the ultimate team sport. Man, there's a lot of new things going on there. So I just look at that and go, I think we're just like kind of swiping it to the side, like, camaraderie, playing together, being battle-tested, no problem. They'll come together twice in one day. I got it. I know. So I guess we're taking that for granted a little bit. And then, of course, I do have questions about that defense. So, between all of those things, and, of course, they're in a pretty good division to go along with it, yeah, I certainly don't look at it as a slam dunk that they're going to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, you actually to get a little bit
go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm looking at your 7 teams, and I don't see one that begins with a B.
No.
So I'm stunned by that. All right, look, I don't think they're overhyped because to say they're overhyped is to say that Tom Brady is overhyped. Tom Brady is not overhyped. He's never been overhyped. He's always delivered. He's driven. He's motivated. From the day he signed with that team, he's been working and focusing and maybe fracturing a rule or two along the way. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Remember when he showed up accidentally at Byron Leftwich's house to pick up the playbook,
right,
when he also happened to have a bag of footballs with him? I just carry a bag of footballs around because, you never know when you're going to need a football, like to maybe go out and run some football plays in the offensive coordinator's backyard. It's throw caution to the wind, pandemic be damned, rules be damned. I'm driven, I'm motivated, I'm focused to prove that I can win without Bill Belichick pushing my buttons and pulling my strings. And, I don't know that it's sustainable. But in that first year after, I think there's enough that he carries with him that it works. And maybe it is sustainable. I mean, when you think of the difference between Jameis Winston and Tom Brady, all due respect to Jameis Winston, who's number 3 this year on the New Orleans Saints depth chart. He threw 30 interceptions last year. They were still 7-7 through 14 games, despite Jameis Winston having one of the worst seasons he could possibly have. Although he had 30 touchdowns, it's 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. They were 7-7. You take him out of the mix, and you bring in one of the great quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, great leader, 6 Super Bowl rings, too many to fit on one hand, and he brings that influence into the locker room with a coach who's smart enough to say, while he holds his rum and Coke, the drink that he drinks when he isn't drinking, go do it.
Yeah.
Go have at it and just take over. And why not? And I think it's going to work. I think that Tom Brady has that aura. He's got the presence, and he still has the arm. And you said so.
No doubt.
He's got the arm.
The arm's fine.
Make it happen.
No doubt.
He's got to get rid of the football while he still has time to do it before he gets hit. That's the key.
That's the big question for me. That's what bothered me about last year's play. There was too many times where I saw, man, there's a guy open 20 yards down the field, and he's already let the ball go to get it out of his hand because he doesn't want to take the hit. So, yeah, that scares me, let alone, offensive line questions a little bit. I'd like to see how that plays. Yeah, the formula of the new offense, it's just a little bit of an unproven commodity. And, you're right with what you say about Jameis Winston. Yeah, I get it. They were 7-7, but this is one thing I think is being glossed over in this conversation with going, hey, they were 7-7, and, they went 7-9 with Jameis Winston and 30 interceptions. Jameis Winston made a whole hell of a lot more plays than Tom Brady did last year. So you're going to lose that. I mean, if you took the highlight reel between Brady and Winston last year in 2019, it's not close. Jameis Winston's highlight reel will blow Brady's out of the water. So you got to forget, you might miss some of that too. Yeah, okay, you might miss some of those interceptions from Jameis Winston, but are you going to get all the 25 and 30 and 20-yard and the scrambling and great plays Jameis Winston makes that way? No, you're not. So I guess I'm just saying, I just got to see it first. I can't stamp it right now, and that's why I didn't pick them to go to the playoffs. Won't be shocked.
Look, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. I understand that. And maybe I'm just being too caught up in the narrative. People say, what do you root for? I root for a good story.
Yeah, I get it.
And I think Tom Brady going to Tampa and the Buccaneers turning it around after all these years of mediocrity, really, since 2008. Is that the last year they made it to the playoffs?
2007.
2007, even worse.
Yeah.
So I just, it's one of those things where it's a fan base that deserves to have a good team.
Definitely.
They've changed the uniforms enough that I can actually look at the game for more than 3 seconds now. It's like staring at a solar eclipse with those awful numbers and jerseys they had before. And you want to see greatness continue. I said after the Patriots won Super Bowl 51, coming back from the 28-3 deficit against the Falcons, we are now entering the territory where Tom Brady is like Michael Jordan in that you must be able to say you saw him play live at some point in your life. That's where he transcended to. And here we are, four seasons later. So, and unfortunately, not a lot of people are going to get to see him this year in person, but he's still got that aura.
Definitely.
And I think that's going to rub off on the teammates. In the same way that Cam Newton's presence is a positive in the Patriots locker room, at least the Patriots players are used to that. The Tampa Bay players aren't.
Right.
Right. And I think it's going to have a huge impact on that team. So I think the Buccaneers win that division. Who do you think wins it?
I'm going to go with the Saints. The Saints, to me, just too talented, no weakness to their football team. Great coaching staff. Yeah, I mean, I think the Saints are one of the best teams in football, the NFC, whatever you want to say. I think they will take the division.
Yeah, and look, I think that if it's not the Buccaneers, it will be the Saints. And they get started on Sunday right out of the gates. They did not hold back what they could. That's the thing. First week of the season, they could identify the 16 worst games of the year and put them on all at once, and we'd still watch.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. I got to give the NFL credit for that. There are a bunch of great games this weekend, and Saints hosting the Buccaneers is one of them.
You didn't hit Atlanta either, because I see you got Atlanta going to the playoffs as well, so you got 3 in the South. Woo, baby.
I've got 3. Well, there's 4. You could have up to 4 out of a division now.
Sure.
So you've got 3 wild card spots, and we've been talking about the Falcons, but when it came time to put a name on it, you wouldn't do it.
No.
You want to flirt with the Falcons, but you don't want to date the Falcons.
No, I can see what you see with the Falcons. Here's what it came down to me with the Falcons. I went the last 2 years they've had the injury bug. And I think in the year that we don't have an offseason, they won't have the injury bug. It's a very thin football team. It is very top-heavy. There has been no depth there. We've seen the last few years 2 or 3 injuries to their team, and they almost fall apart. So I don't trust that aspect of their team, especially in a year like this. That was kind of my logic. But like, if you made me pick a dark horse Super Bowl team, they would probably be it. Like one of those teams that's out of the top 5 or 10 odds in Vegas. So you said, who's a team that you might throw some money on that might win the Super Bowl and you're just taking a shot on? The Atlanta Falcons, their starting 22 is a very impressive group.
But it also becomes difficult for you to put them in your 7 playoff teams. That just shows you would consider them a dark horse candidate to win the Super Bowl, but you can't put their name down. There's so many other good teams in the NFC to choose from.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.